Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts. Please be sure to listen to our important message following this episode regarding the risks of investing in exchange-traded options.
Welcome, everyone. This is Steve Meising, your host of the ISE webinar series. So tonight, I'm pleased to present that we have Price Headley. Price, of course, as all of you know, I'm sure, is he's responsible for Big Trends. So he's the founder and chief analyst of Big Trends. And Price has been on with us a number of times, and I always appreciate his candidness. He's just really honest on, what he thinks in the market. He doesn't really tiptoe around much at all. I should say he doesn't one bit. And it's really refreshing, as sometimes you see some people in the media that actually they do that. And Price does a great job of just saying that the charts speak for themselves. So I'm really proud to introduce Price Headley. Again, Price is the founder and chief analyst at bigtrends.com. So welcome, Price. Glad to have you.
Thanks, Steve. Always a pleasure to join you all, and definitely excited to talk about the trends that we're seeing out there in the Forex options, and I've been definitely very impressed with what the ISE's done as far as really helping to get the word out about the real power of the FX options and all the different currencies that can be traded. So let's make sure that it looks like we've got some people saying that the mic volume's a little bit low. I've cranked mine up as about as loud as mine will go, so I'm hoping that everybody's hearing me okay. Yeah. I will also try to speak up and make sure it's getting through loud and clear here.
You're good, Price.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and just remind people that these examples are just examples and really just geared around education only. In anything that we're talking about here, we're not making specific trading recommendations. Obviously, there's a lot of other considerations that need to go into each individual's a particular strategy, and you should consult with your particular advisors, broker, tax advisor, et cetera, before you enter into any option strategy. And so, just as you know, options do involve risk, and we always recommend that people should read the characteristics and risks of standardized options. You can get that through the 1-888 options number or 888options.com. So again, just educating here today, and so we're going to focus on several of the vehicles. Actually, ISE FX options, they've really done a nice job of expanding the choices that you have available to trade and trade a lot of different foreign currencies against, as you can see, all of them are against the dollar here. So when we look at each of these symbols, you're going to note that each one, like for example in the first column here, Australian dollar, as you can see, it's quoted U.S. dollars versus the Australian dollar, ticker symbol AUX. These are all accessible through your options broker. They are exchange-listed securities. The nice thing is they're cash settled in U.S. dollars. European-style exercise means that they cannot be exercised before the expiration, only at the expiration. So that helps you if you're doing spreads or other types of trades you might be worried about an exercise situation. And of course, can be traded as spreads. So we like to look at the various spread possibilities when we're looking at any option strategy, not just a straight options purchase, but also spreads. So as we mentioned, the symbols, Australian dollar, U.S. dollar against Australian is AUX, and these are quoted and can be pulled up on your platforms typically, just like you'd pull up any other index like the SPX or the CompX or INDU for the Dow, however you do your main indexes. Do it the same way for these symbols like AUX or BPX is the British pound. That's a U.S. dollar against the British pound. Canadian dollar it's been a real strong trending one both ways. U.S. dollar against Canadian is ticker symbol CDD on the ISE. exchange. And then your euro, of course, is a very popular one. EUI is a symbol there, the U.S. dollar against the European currency, the euro. And Swiss franc, USD against CHF is the ticker symbol SFC, Sam Frank Cat. And then Japanese yen, my favorite symbol of all, is the YUK, the YUK. So definitely something that is a real nice set of choices from you. And you can, as you notice, you can get these plotted across a lot of different platforms, and we might try to pull one of those up tonight to look at some of those with some of the just traditional indicators that I'll be talking about here tonight. As we said, the ISE FX options are based on a per U.S. dollar basis. So as you saw that in that last chart, the U.S. dollar is listed first. So the valuation is expressed as the number of units of the other currency per U.S. dollar. So as we like to say, think of it as what is a U.S. dollar worth in these other currency terms. As we noted, that ISE FX options can be traded directly through your equity brokerage account, so you don't have to set up any special foreign exchange account per se. Here, because we're talking about FX options, ISE's done a nice job to integrate that in with your other favorite strategies you might use for other equity options or index options. And so, of course, you can go to their site, isc.com/FX, and they do these webinars typically every Tuesday at 4:30 Eastern. They were kind enough to accommodate me because I was in the middle of a coaching session that I do Tuesdays at 4:30. So, and the nice thing about all these sessions is that they are archived, folks. Definitely encourage you to make sure that you're going back through the archives if you happen to miss one, or if you're looking for some reinforcement of some principles. Certainly some of the things we'll talk about today are a little bit unique and definitely are worth repeating for yourself. Some of the features we talked about on ISE FX options is we're talking about now options on where these exchange rate pairs are going. They are U.S. dollar based. What's interesting is that instead of trading in full dollar strike prices, actually trade in 50-cent increments, which is nice. It gives you some more choices depending on the price of the of which pair we're talking about, and give you more options literally to work with. Premium quoted in U.S. dollars, European exercise we talked about, cash settled. And then, the option Friday that we're all aware of, typically on the third Friday of the month, they have a noon settlement. And so they tie that into this noon buying rate of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. So that's how they come up with the final pricing there. Available in your own equity brokerage accounts. And what we love is that you get a continuous market. This is not your broker by broker market, but this is the exchange traded market, which I really like a lot better personally. Trading hours 9:30 till 4:15 Eastern time. So we alluded to how that chart works and how each of these pairs is derived here. So I think this might be just a slide I had done that's kind of basically just a repeat of what we just talked about. So just, we mixed up the symbols with the yucks on top now. But basically, that you're doing dollars versus the foreign currency like the yen to come up with the YUK symbol for tracking how the dollar's doing against the yen. And so that's what we're going to look at. And so the key point here, of course, is if you're bullish and looking for a symbol strategy, you'd simply buy calls, whereas if you're bearish, you could simply buy puts. But you could also do other strategies, which we'll talk about as well, depending on if you're thinking maybe slightly bullish. Well, maybe you might want to do a spread, like a debit spread on the bull side. We'll talk about how that works.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.isc.com/podcasts.